If you have seen Bollywood movies or Indian serials or Indian daily soaps, one of the characteristics of such movies or the serials is whenever a person, a married person, requires fund, he will use his fund first, and then he will ask his mother, and then he will ask his wife. Right, so this is generally happens. Typically, this is the seen in any movie or serials. Similarly, if mother needs money, mother will use her money first, then she will ask her son, but she never ask anything with her daughter-in-law. This is typically depicted in Indian serials. On the other hand, if the wife needs money, the wife will use her money first, and then she will ask her husband, but not mother-in-law. Okay, so this is what generally we can see in any Indian movies where sas bahu relationship is there or a family relationship is there. Okay, so same concept has been implemented to input tax credit and its utilization. So let's move towards the crux of the story, input tax credit and its utilization, part 2. Welcome friends to the circle of knowledge called Avi's Academy. You are at the right place if you are learning commerce, management and economics at undergraduation and post-graduation level, and if you are one of those who have thirst for knowledge. In the previous video, I have portrayed a story named as Input Tax Credit the Story, where there were 3 characters: son, mother and wife. Son's role is played by IGST, mother's role is played by CGST, and wife's role is played by SGST. So this is what discussed there. In that story, there were 3 situations. In each situation, one of the characters required funds for some reason, and they have used the help of others in the story to pay towards that their liability, right? So that was discussed in the previous video. So today I'll be speaking about the crux of the story. If you remember the first scenario or first situation where the son required funds because he gets immediate call when he was working in his office from his friend asking for the money which his friend has given during his wedding time. He is asking for refund. So suddenly he gets worried and he thinks about his funds, the available, which is his savings, and then he asks his mother and wife. So if you replace the characters with the role, I mean the taxes. So son is IGST, mother is CGST and wife is SGST, right? So IGST, the son, required funds. So what son does, IGST does, IGST uses his money, IGST, and then it asks for the help of mother, CGST, and wife, SGST, right? So it means if you have IGST tax liability, if you need to pay IGST tax liability to the government, then if you have all these taxes as credits which you have paid on your input, on the input, if you have paid the taxes, if you have IGST credit and if you have CGST credit and if you have SGST credit in your electronic credit ledger, then first of all, you have to use your own money, which is IGST. So your output tax liability of IGST can be deducted from your input tax credit relating to IGST. So IGST credit first should be utilized, and after that CGST or SGST, any order you can use. There is no specific order for this year. So what you can do is, what we will do is, we will take the help of mother first, okay, CGST. So next with CGST and after that with SGST, okay. So first, if you have IGST tax liability, you have to use IGST credit first, same headka first, and after that CGST credit, and after that SGST credit you need to use. So this is how we are utilizing the IGST, CGST and SGST credit to pay towards our IGST output tax liability. Okay. Similarly, in the second situation where mother required funds, what mother does, mother uses her own money, CGST, mother, CGST uses her own money, and after that she asks for the help of son is IGST. That means if you have CGST tax liability and if you have all the three credits in your electronic credit ledger, then first you have to use your own money, which is CGST credit, and then you have to use IGST credit, and after that in the story it comes like mother will never ask the help of wife, daughter-in-law, right? So that means if you have CGST tax liability, you cannot use SGST credit to deduct the tax liability. You can use CGST first and then IGST, but no CGST. Remember this, okay, in case of CGST. Whereas in case of SGST, where wife required some money, so she opens her piggy bank. That means she is using her own money first, and then she asks for her husband's help, right? Correct? Yes. So that's what being depicted in the story. When it comes to CGST, the mother-in-law, so she never asks her help, right? Which means if you have SGST tax liability and if you have all the three credits in your electronic credit ledger, first of all you have to use SGST. Then you have to ask for your husband help. Husband is IGST, right? So IGST ka help you have to take. And when it comes to CGST, you cannot use her help. Okay. So which means in entire story what is built upon is, if you have IGST tax liability, you have to use first IGST, same head, then CGST or SGST. For computational purpose, what we are going to do is, first IGST, we will be utilizing IGST credit, then CGST credit, then SGST credit to deduct IGST tax liability. And after that, if you have CGST tax liability, first of all you have to use CGST input tax credit, then you can use IGST credit, but you cannot use SGST credit. In the third case, where if you have SGST tax liability that you have to pay to the state government, you can use first SGST credit, which is of the same state government. Okay, SGST credit you have to use, and after that you can use IGST, but not CGST because it belongs to central government. Okay, so this is the way in which we have to utilize input tax credit. So this is the crux of the utilization of input tax credit. Thank you guys for watching the video. If you like the video, give a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel by clicking subscribe button. If you want to share the video, you can share the video because you can learn to share and share to learn. If you want to get continuous notification, click the bell icon there. And if you have any comments, doubts, clarification, please write here. Thank you once again. Thank you all.